Hello, Internet! My name is Rad Fallen, and today we're going to be speedrunning Heroes of the Storm in the Assassin Percent category. Last time I ran this category with Illidan, this time I want to change up my strategy a little bit. I'm going to run with Falstad and take advantage of his global mount ability and see if we can get a comparable run to what we had last time. Again, with this category, it's going to be us against the map. There are going to be no allied heroes, no enemy heroes. Sometimes you just want to be a hermit, and that's one of those days for me right now. So hopefully we can get a good run out of this today, and not in that category. So the way that we do this normally is we're going to do custom games, make sure that there are no allies, no enemies, and we're just going to hop into the game now. The timing's going to start on their first map, practice holdout, and it's going to start when the countdown timer at the very beginning hits 0, and timing's going to end on Dragonshire, which is going to be our last map when the core goes down. Now, with Illidan, we decided to run on Infernal Shrines instead. Illidan is very effective on Infernal Shrines because he can take down the objective fairly easily. Falstad has a little bit of a harder time doing that, so we're going to take advantage of his global abilities to cap a couple of shrines on the Dragonshire map instead, and hopefully get a good run out of it still.
Systems online. 10 seconds.
And the run starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Gates open.
And we're just going to wait around here in the middle lane a little bit. No need to rush. I mean, we're not trying to do this fast or anything. In reality, we've got to wait for the minions. Falstad cannot tank towers at all, and so we just want to make sure that they're taking the brunt of it for us. In addition to that, at level 1 we picked up a talent called Wingman, which is Falstad's version of Bribe. Essentially what it does is every 20 minions that die around us means that we can bribe a mercenary camp. Once that mercenary camp goes down completely, it'll start pushing with us. Which on this map is particularly helpful, because mercenaries on this camp for siege camps actually reduce the armor of whatever they're hitting, in this case buildings. And since we're going to be pushing alongside a Zerg wave, this is very helpful for us, because of the fact that it means that the amplified damage to structures will be applied to all the Zerg that are hitting that structure. So essentially that just means that we want to have at least 20 minions killed by the time we start capping the beacons. Which is very easy actually. You're going to see that right here, right now. We're going to kill this guy right here, kill this guy right here, and that's 20. And even though we flew down a little bit earlier, our flight is now back up, meaning that we can go back up to the top lane very quickly, cap this one off, and then immediately go over to the mercenary camp over here, capture the first portion with our bribe, and then take down the second portion with our abilities. And as you can see, we are having our armor reduced by this guy as we speak, meaning that we're taking amplified damage from him. That is the exact ability that we want to see used to take down structures. And that second guy goes down very quickly, and we're going back to the top. The Zerg wave is coming in here shortly. I want to get our minion wave pushing because that's going to be helping our mercenaries here, because they're going to be taking a little bit of damage here to start out. That's just what happens when the mercenaries start pushing down the top lane, is that the towers just start to do a little bit of extra damage to them, but that's fine. They'll actually last still a good portion of time here. And as I mentioned earlier, Falstad's Wingman ability also increases the damage of his W ability, so because we use that one activation of Bribe, it essentially means that our W ability now does 5% extra damage. And as you can see, the fort has 25 armor reduced. That means anything that's hitting it is doing 25% extra damage, which means that the structures here are just going to go down that much faster. We also have a lot of Ultralisks still alive. That is fantastic. The Ultralisks are the best at tanking down structures. Well, tanking structures more than anything, not taking them down. Taking down the structures, probably the best would be all of our ranged units here, the Hydralisks and the Guardians. And the Zerglings are just kind of fun. So anyways, this is exactly what we want to see. Structures targeting the Ultralisk instead of our Mercenary, meaning that this building is taking 25% extra damage. And now, once we push down this minion wave, we will be hitting the core, which is great, and means that we should actually get a decent time on this map. So yeah, we want to just be getting that as hard as we can with as many things as we can. And because we have so many things hitting it, that will be tied. Okay, first map done, and we saved about 12 seconds there. That's good, that's good. Alright, next up we have the Warhead Junction. Alright, custom, Warhead, let's go, let's go. Start the game, ready, and start. Let's roll. So with Warhead Junction, again, we're going to have mercenary camps pushing with us, so we're going to pick up the Wingman talent at level 1. It's also going to be increasing our damage that we do to buildings a lot. 5% might not seem like a lot, but once you get a couple applications of it, it really just really stacks up really well. Also, I apologize for this part. I can tell that the video is going to be a little bit laggy here. I can tell because when I look at the timer's kind of frozen at the bottom of my screen. That just kind of happens occasionally, but that should be alright, I would think. The timer does actually keep up. More than anything, it just is a bit of annoyance more than anything. And it just tells me that my video is going to be a little bit laggy. So again, I apologize about that. Anyways, at this point in time, we are going to be waiting in the middle lane for our minions. It's the only kind of companionship that we want right now. Mostly, we just don't want to see other players at the moment. So ideally, what we're going to be seeing here is one nuke spawn in the middle lane and one in the bottom lane. Top and bottom is also acceptable as well. Because eventually we're going to be pushing the bottom lane, and that's because all of the siege camps, the mercenary camps, are going to be in the bottom lane here for us. And so we want to take advantage of that. Although at this point in time, we're just going to be taking down this minion wave, and after this minion wave falls down, we're actually going to be flying up to the top. Now, the warheads will spawn in at the 3-minute mark, and since our flight takes 55 seconds to recharge, we want to make sure that it's fully recharged, that way we can grab the nuke and immediately fly down to the bottom lane. In the meantime, we also want to make sure that we are continuously stacking up our bribe, that way we have at least 40 minions down by the time we get to the bottom lane. That way we can immediately bribe a mercenary camp and go on our merry way. And the reason that we're still attacking towers here is that we're just trying to get experience as well. The more experience we have, the higher level we are, the more damage we deal. So yeah, we're just taking down buildings to get extra damage more than anything. Because the more damage we have, the more damage... Well, yeah. The more damage we have, the faster we take stuff down. I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. Alright, so right now we have 26 minions down. We are at the 2-minute point. In 30 seconds we will get the notification that the warheads are about to spawn. So at this point, we're not really in a rush at all. But after this point, we're going to be in a rush for probably the rest of this map. So yeah, notification about the warheads will happen now. So yep, now we have 30 seconds until warheads spawn. We're just going to keep killing minions here, and with this wave we will be up at the 40 mark, which we want. I'm actually going to, at this time, fall back a little bit as well. Grab the healing fountain just for that little bit of extra survivability because we are fine. Ooh, and I actually didn't catch a minion there. That's also fine, I'll get one from the bottom lane.
Warheads have been deployed. End update.
Alright, and now we're going to fly down to the bottom lane. Now, Falstad's ability isn't quite global. It's very large, but it's not quite global, so we're going to have to move down a little bit as well before we start flying. And there we are. And we caught the extra minion there, so we are good. And we are going to launch the warhead. Warhead's dropped. We're going to grab the next one. Yep, we got it. Good to go.
Your loot is now on. All warheads have claimed.
Alrighty, and this means essentially that we can actually get additional waves of warheads as well, which is very good for us. Alright, now that that's down, we're going to be moving back a little bit, grabbing this siege camp right over here with our bribe. Since we have 2 stacks of that, that's going to increase our damage as well. And keep moving on. Ooh, and that's actually really good for us for the next wave of nukes. There's going to be 2 spawning in the bottom lane. If we need them, we are going to be very close to them, which is always a good thing. And again, at this point, since we have used 2 stacks of bribe, our W ability will be doing 10% extra damage. And that number will just continue to increase as the game goes on. We've also regained 1 stack of bribe at this point as well. Essentially what that's going to mean is that we should, theoretically, have 2 stacks by the time we get to the stage where the next mercenary camp is going to be. Meaning that when we pass the mercenary camp, we will be close enough where we can pick up that extra mercenary camp to go along with us. Take it along on the adventure with us. Which will be nice because this mercenary camp that I currently have is already missing one of its guys. Alrighty. We're going to go for W talents because that's our main source of damage here. And then we're going to hit a tower. We're not quite there. We still need 6 minions down to get our next stack of bribe. So we're going to just wait for those minions to die in this wave while we are taking down the structures. Okay, structure's down. 3 minions left. Let these 3 go down. We are going to go back again to this siege camp. Just take it over with our bribe. And we have actually saved this final warhead for the core, actually. Because, again, this keep is going to be going down very quickly, especially if we can get our mercenaries to be hitting it, because that is just going to increase the damage they are dealing. We're going to grab the region globe. We're going to hit this core. We're going to make sure that the center of that hit hits the core itself, because the center does more damage. And that's not enough to take down the shields, but it is enough to get us going down a good path on taking this thing down. So Falstad is a bit slower on this map than Illidan is, and that's going to be fine here. We're going to get a little bit of time loss, but again, this is just trial and error at this point. So the final map that we're going to be doing is Dragonshire. And we're going to see what kind of time difference we can get here. Timing will end when the core on Dragonshire goes down. So Dragonshire is going to be right over here. Doo-doo-doo. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So yeah, it looks like on Warhead Junction, Falstad is about 30 seconds slower than Illidan is. But again, this is just trial and error, so who knows how this run will end up.
Prepare for combat.
Now, similar to Warhead Junction, the siege camps for this map are going to be ending up in the bottom lane, so that's where we're going to be pushing. However, we're going to start in the middle lane, actually, and then we are going to go to the bottom lane to begin our pushing. And that's just so we can get more waves for our wingman talent. And then by the time the shrines actually start for the objective, we're going to be able to fly from the bottom lane to the top lane to get that shrine, get that turn in, and then get the dragon here to push with us. In total, I believe we are going to be getting 2 dragons, and that will just increase our pushing power. Alrighty. So yep, we're going to try to take down this wave as quickly as possible, and then fly down to the bottom. We have 7 minions there, and I think we only missed 1 minion down here, so we should get a total of 13 after this wave. Which is good, yep. Alright, so 13 minions down out of the 20 we need for 1 stack. We're going to try to get 2 stacks before we get any business going. Shrines happen in 30 seconds. So we're actually going to start worrying about the mercenaries after the first objective. But, however, we're still going to be trying to get as much damage in on these towers before the objective spawns as per usual. Yep, and then we're going to go over to this shrine, and then immediately fly up to the top. And again, because Falstad's ability isn't quite global, we need to move a little bit before we can take flight. And there we are. We picked up a regen globe along the way somehow. And then we're just going to hop over that wall. Unfortunately, we took damage so that our passive isn't quite active, which slows us down a little bit. But thankfully there are no minions near the shrine. Unfortunately, those minions can interrupt you picking up the dragon, so it's a little bit annoying. I'm going to burn down those minions to get us a little bit extra XP. And start laying siege to these buildings. And just make sure that our Q is continuously on the ground hitting buildings and minions. That way our minions can push along with us. They don't do as much damage as we do because, you know, we're a giant dragon at this point in time. But they still do help with the pushing. And also prevent us from being hit, which preserves our dragon and preserves our damage bit. Alright, picking up static shield again, giving more utility to our W. Alright, we have 5 more seconds with the dragon. I'm going to try to get a flame breath on these buildings. And I wasn't quite fast enough to do that, that's alright. Alright, so at this point in time, we have 2 stacks. We can go straight to the siege camp and get that pushing alongside with us. Alrighty, and our push is going pretty well right now. This siege camp, instead of taking that additional damage from armor reduction, is actually just going to do a lot of damage to begin with the downside of heroes normally being able to avoid their attacks. Since there are no heroes that can avoid their attacks in this map, it's actually really good for siege damage, especially because these guys can outrange towers. Which means that the only things that they have to worry about are minions. So if we can handle our minions just fine around here, we should be able to get a good push coming out of these guys. So yeah, we're going to back up a little bit. These guys are hitting buildings, and they're not taking any hits in return, which is fantastic. A little bit risky there. As I mentioned before, Falstad is not the bulkiest character out there, so we want to make sure that we kind of keep a good eye on our health bar this entire time. We want to stay a little bit more survivable with our static shield, but it's not enough so that we can just be carefree as we were with Illidan. Misclick there. So yeah, we're going to take down this keep here. We're going to be picking up Charged Up, which is going to increase our damage on our W again. And we're just going to be running back, actually, at this point, and grabbing the objective. And then with the objective, we're going to push for the final little bit, and win the game by pushing with the dragon in the bottom lane. And this method seems like it's going to be a little bit slower than it was with Illidan, which was kind of expected. It was just a bit of an experiment more than anything, as I said at the very beginning. Because we didn't take damage, our passive ability is still in effect. Now we have the dragon. We're going to push down the bottom lane here. Our mercenary camp just went down, and we are pushing on the core with our minions. The core is completely exposed, and we have catapult pressure on the core as well. So yeah, we're just going to take and burn down that minion wave a little bit, and just focus all of our damage on the core here. Since we're going to have minions of our own here soon, they're going to be hitting the core as well, especially with those catapults, which just do so much damage to the core. Alright, and the core is going down very, very soon. And that's time. Alrighty, 2031. Overall, about a 30-second difference between the Illidan run and this run. Still actually faster than the previous world record, which I'm pretty happy about. Overall, this has been a nice little experiment. I think in the future I might be able to get a better time with Falstad. But who knows, it'll just be a little bit of trial and error from here on out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. And if you have any advice, please feel free to leave it to me. Again, I apologize about the quality of the video, especially at the start of each map. I'm not sure why OBS has such a hard time recording at the very beginning, but, you know, that's just how this goes. Anyways, thank you again for watching, and I hope you all enjoy. See ya!